So the mainstream media says the Maryland father, circled right there, was quote unquote mistakenly deported to El Salvador. That's not really the case. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the Maryland father who was quote unquote mistakenly deported to El Salvador. Now, when you read that headline, when you hear that headline, you may think that they got the wrong guy. You may think this guy was a U.S. citizen. You may think that the police were racist. They heard him speaking Spanish and they put him in the van and threw him to El Salvador. That's not what happened. The reality is much different than what you're going to think. And of course, the media, they know that. They play on that. They report these stories in a way that is intended to manipulate you to buy into the leftist narrative. That's all they do. Here is the reality of the situation. This guy, we've been trying to deport since 2019. This guy was allegedly an MS-13 with an extensive criminal history. This guy was here illegally from El Salvador. So I don't really see the problem. Oh, he's a father, ABL. Well, so what? Listen, you got criminals over here, citizens over here that get deleted by police for less. Okay, it's a foot chase, stolen car, something crazy like that. The guy takes out a cell phone, the police, bang, 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 bang. He dead right there on the ground. Walmart Tavius had 15 kids. Oh, well, next gang member. Who cares? Don't nobody care. So if nobody cares about that, why would I care about this guy? He was here illegally, and they've been trying to get him out since 2019. Why didn't you self-deport in that 6-year period of time? Please save me the waterworks. I'm not trying to hear it. Now, the ICE error comes because there was a do not deport order placed on him by a judge back in October of 2019. Ain't no the reason why they said they didn't want to deport him is because if he was to go back to El Salvador, he would fall victim to the gangs out there. Crimea River. Now, JD Vance said something about it, and they got on him about it because he made a mistake in the tweet. He originally said that it was under the Biden administration where the guy was first apprehended to be deported, but it was under Trump, of course. At the end of the day, you can see illegal alien, MS-13, etc. So get on up out of here. Get on up out of here. The mistake about it being under Biden rather than Trump is irrelevant because all of what he said beyond that, as far as the details of this individual, are right on point. So shout out to JD Vance. Now let's look at the news out there. This is going to be DC local news, and I expect it to be a little bit biased because it's DC. All right. And of course, I'll link to this video, any other videos, articles, and whatnot in the box. If you're on IG, Facebook, etc., visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
A Maryland father from Prince George's County with protected legal status deported to El Salvador by mistake. The Trump administration admitting yesterday in court filings there was an administrative error. The man is now stuck in the Central American country since the U.S. does not have jurisdiction over Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia. Joining us.
Let's pause for a minute. Now, he may be stuck there, but we're not trying to get him back. We're not trying to get him back, because he is where he should be.
Now is attorney Mario Gallucci to break this all down. Mario, good to see you. Let's start off with the facts here. We know that he is lives in Maryland. He was reporting with ICE because he does have a legal status here in the United States, and yet still he got rounded up and he ended up in Salvador. What's the latest?
So that's exactly what everybody has been afraid of, is that somebody that should not have been picked up and deported is actually deported.
See, there you go. See, that's what I'm talking about. They're going to make it seem like he's just an innocent guy. He didn't do anything wrong. He just speaks Spanish. He's a father and he's a family man. Not even talking about the gang affiliation or anything like that, or the criminal history, or the fact that he was here illegally, or the fact that we've been trying to deport him since 2019.
And that's what it appears happened here. This individual.
So that's him right there with the highlight. That's him right there. I guess somebody recognized him from a picture. Now, how would you recognize a guy who does not have his face or any bodily features presenting to you? Oh, maybe because of the gang tattoos on his head. Maybe the gang tattoos on his dome piece gave him away.
Individual had protected status. He went to court, I believe, in 2019 and was given protected status. Although he came into the country illegally, he did obtain legal status to remain in the country. I know he was arrested at one point on a traffic violation. At that point, there was an argument that he might have been a member of MS-13, but there was no evidence of that ever given to a court. And I believe it's that evidence that was never given to a court or proven was the reason he actually ended up on a list and getting deported to El Salvador, which is a problem.
So this man is from Beltsville, from Prince George's County. He is married.
He's from El Salvador, but he lived in Beltsville, Maryland. Let's just keep it all the way honest, lady. He is from El Salvador, here in the country illegally until he got deported, and he lived in Beltsville, Maryland.
To a U.S. citizen. They have a son.
Hold on. The wife is a citizen, not him. Just to be on the same page, he is not a citizen. Let's go back a little bit.
From Prince George's County. He is married to a U.S. citizen. They have a son who is also a U.S. citizen. The Trump administration saying they have no jurisdiction in El Salvador to bring him back. Again, he did have illegal status, although he was reporting with ICE and he was reporting with a judge as had been ordered. So what happens next now? What's the recourse here?
So what's going to happen is they're right. He is now in El Salvador custody, and so we're going to have to use diplomatic means to get him back. They're going to have to go through back channels in order to get him back. And I just hope that this administration is willing to put in the effort. And they've already admitted that they made this one mistake. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that they not only admit that error, but that they now take the next step and use, behind the scenes way to get him back.
Well, we'll see if that happens. I don't see that happening, but we'll see. We shall see. Now let's go here. Let's hear from our White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt about the whole situation, because the media will say one thing, but let's hear it straight from the people that are actually running it. When the media gets their hands on stories, they twist it, they manipulate it to fit their narrative. Let's hear the reality straight from the source.
Jeff.
Just changing subjects for 1 second. The administration has expressed a complete confidence in how all the deportation flights to El Salvador were conducted. But now that the administration has conceded that there was an error of one Salvadoran national, will there be any reviews conducted? And does the president express any thoughts on the one error that was disclosed in court last night?
Well, first of all, the error that you are referring to was a clerical error. It was an administrative error. The administration maintains the position that this individual who was deported to El Salvador and will not be returning to our country was a member of the brutal and vicious MS-13 gang. That is fact number one. Fact number two, we also have credible intelligence proving that this individual was involved in human trafficking. And fact number three, this individual was a member, actually a leader of the brutal MS-13 gang, which this president has designated as a foreign terrorist organization. Fact number four is that foreign terrorists do not have legal protections in the United States of America anymore, and it is within the president's executive authority and power to deport these heinous individuals from American communities. It is a promise he campaigned on. It is a promise he is keeping, and every single person in this room should be grateful for that, considering especially MS-13 is very prevalent and prominent here in the District of Columbia, in Maryland, and in Virginia. And the president, the attorney general, everyone who has been involved in these operations is focused on eradicating these criminals and terrorists from our communities.
The vice president said he was a convicted member of MS-13. What evidence is there to back that up?
There's a lot of evidence, and the Department of Homeland Security and ICE have that evidence, and I saw it this morning.
There we go. So there it is. All righty. So again, shout out Caroline Leavitt, our amazing White House press secretary. But that's pretty much it. The reason why I did this video is because I saw the story going around, and when I'm reading the headline, I knew what they were trying to say, but I figured wait a little bit and see what the real story is. I knew they were trying to say they got the wrong guy deported. He was a citizen. He was a dad, playing football with a little boy, that whole thing. But then when I learned more, I'm like, oh, okay. They've been trying to get him out of here since 2019. They had the MS-13 gang member history. They had the fact that he's not here legally from El Salvador. I don't really see the problem. Now, as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to everybody who is like me, thought one thing, but then thought about it and then saw the reality of the situation. And to those who don't want to believe it, I mean, look, I always put my evidence in the box. You can read it right there. You can go on their websites and read it, and you'll see what it is. They're not going to say that he is a U.S. citizen. They'll say he's a citizen of El Salvador. Exactly. That's what they're going to say, because he's not here legally. We've been trying to get him out for the past 6 years. He's had some immigration issues, MS-13 gang member. And we said, here's something else we said, though. And this is why, especially you being here this long, you could have been getting some money up and getting ready to get up out of here and self-deport. We said we're going to prioritize the criminal aliens. That's what we said we're going to do. So why are you still here? If you are a criminal alien here when Trump says that in 2024, you should have left that day. You should have packed something in your book bag, a little knapsack, and got up out of here. But you didn't. So I don't feel any kind of sorrow. I don't feel any kind of sorrow for this individual. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about this individual who was deported back to El Salvador? Was it the right thing to do, wrong thing to do? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I mean, it was 100% right thing to do. We're getting out the criminals. The criminal aliens, those are going to be the priority. You see, there would be a strong case here from the media's perspective if they could find somebody who was a regular everyday dude, or somebody's abuela that's been cooking rice and beans in a restaurant for the past 40 years. And nobody's trying to get her. We're getting the criminal aliens out of here. This dude had gang tattoos on his head, and he had already been in the system for years. So I don't really see the problem. Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.